This YCN segment is brought to you by Echo Communications, a digitally integrated commercial printer.
Welcome back, YCN Sports Talk. Jeremy Stout, Andrew Zerhide, and we talked to Andrew about the Boston Celtics. We talked all summer long, preseason. This team was going to be the best team in the East, maybe getting 60 wins, looking really good. Now they've started out a little sluggish, 6-4 as we sit here on Wednesday, losing 2 in a row on the road. Yep. They got some more road games coming up later this week. Do we, I don't want to say panic, because we're not going to panic with 10 games in, but do we say maybe we're a little too overzealous about the Celtics team just because of the pieces that need to get put into place?
Yeah, I think so, and of course you have to remember Gordon Hayward and Kyrie, they're coming off of injuries, right, so they're kind of trying to get back in the swing of things. Really, this team, they have been shooting a ton of threes, and sometimes they've been knocking them down, sometimes not so much. This team, they have some shooters, but when you have guys like Aaron Baines shooting 5 threes in a game, to me, that's not a good thing. I think the game is kind of changing right now analytically. More teams are shooting more threes. You see the Warriors, right? They have really kind of started this wave of three-point shooting. But that team, they have shooters. They can make all of those shots, right? And the Boston Celtics, not quite there yet. I think their defense will eventually start to play better. Brad Stevens is going to kind of clean that up a little bit. I'm a little worried, but not too concerned. 6-4, it's not like they're awful right now. They have a winning record, and it's really early. I think in the coming weeks, they're going to clean things up, and we'll see some more wins. Definitely.
Yeah, and I mean, they're still, like I said, only 10 games in. They're still fourth place in the Eastern Conference. 6-4, not a bad record. If they continue at this pace, they'll win something like 50 games. So it's not like they'll be terrible. Just not as much. And maybe that's our fault. We expected too much because we said, well, Hayward's going to be healthy, and Irving's going to be healthy, and the team's back, Smart's back. So maybe that was on us, just thinking a little too, getting excited. But you're right, Brad Stevens, he's proven he's the coach. He knows what he can do with his players. He comes up with schemes, puts them in the right positions to win. So now you look at it in the landscape of the East and where they sit right now. Toronto Raptors sitting at 10-1.
Yeah.
Did we underestimate? Talk about maybe overestimating the Celtics. Did we underestimate Toronto because of the trade? And we didn't know how Leonard was going to perform. Yeah,
Kawhi Leonard has looked like he hasn't missed a beat. He looks like another a first-team All-Star once again. They're going to be a force to reckon with. We kind of said they were going to. I think we said they're going to be like a top 4 team. Yeah. But right now they are leading the East, and to me, they're the team to beat. They are looking very strong, and of course, Kyle Lowry is still there, holding it down. They're a quality team, and some people kind of overlooked them, I think, a little bit.
Well, yeah, they overlooked them because, and myself included, because the trade, they give up DeRozan, they get Leonard. We don't know how Leonard, he kind of ended his season in San Antonio, not on the best.
Rocky.
Yeah, rocky would be the best way to put it. And we said, well, if he's not even going to play for a coach as great as Greg Popovich, what's he going to do in a new country? We forget that it's a whole new surroundings, really, and. He's been. They've done well, but you go back to the Celtics team, and clearly they have the talent. And one of those pieces you mentioned, Hayward. Yeah. Should we worry that he's not 100%, or is it something like we forget he hasn't played basketball in a full year? It might take until after Christmas before he's 100%.
It might take the entire season. We saw guys like George. Was it George Paul? Or Paul George. Paul George.
Leg.
Right. He shattered his leg. A similar kind of injury. It took him really a full season to get back up to full speed, that explosiveness that you need to succeed in the NBA. So it might take him a full season. I'm sure he's sore. I'm sure he's feeling that ankle. And that was really a severe injury. We have to remember that. He had a bunch of metal in his foot and ankle before the season. So I think it's going to take him some time. Hopefully by Christmas, like you said, he feels better and healthy, but it could take the full season. That was a really bad injury.
Right, and we forget he couldn't really do any work for the first 8 months of the injury. It's not like he was able to run because it was an upper body injury or it was a broken hand, so he was still doing conditioning. He was basically immobile for a long period of time, and then he slowly started back up. So it's almost like the training camp was just barely getting his feet wet, and now this has been some actual game. But this team has so much talent around them. I think they'll be okay.
Yeah.
In the end, I still think they'll be the number 1 seed in the East. I'm not too worried.
Yeah, I think they will be at least number 2. Like you said, the talent. They just have so much talent with these young guys like Tatum and Brown, and of course Rozier and Smart and all these supporting pieces. And those guys, they're not even all-stars, right? We're not even talking about the all-stars in this team. So they have the depth. I think eventually in the coming weeks they're going to tighten things up. And we'll be seeing them contend for that top seed. Definitely.
Yeah, after Christmas, I'm sure they'll be turning things around, so we'll wait to see how that turns out. Just a couple days ago, the MLB announced the finalists for some of the awards. We'll take a break and come back, talk about that. Obviously, a couple Red Sox manager up for the awards. We'll take a break. You're watching YCN Sports Talk.